Why am I the one who cares more? Let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped and wondered, why is it that I treat her so well, and she still doesn't value me? You don't start drama, you're respectful. You give her attention, appreciation, effort. You make her feel seen, you avoid conflict, you stay loyal, and yet, she doesn't give you the same back. She pulls away. She gives you silence. She doesn't chase you like you chase her. Let's not sugarcoat it. It hurts. You sit there wondering, why do I always end up being the one who cares more? I'll tell you why. And I won't just tell you why. I'll show you exactly what to do to shift everything. Because today, I'm going to teach you how to flip the script, using a mix of psychology, reverse attraction, and yes, even dark tactics when needed. Not to manipulate, not to hurt anyone, but to protect your worth when being a good man just isn't enough. Because sometimes, being kind isn't respected. Sometimes, giving too much only gets you ignored. And when you become the one who's chasing, overgiving, and always available, you stop being exciting. You become expected, predictable, safe, and eventually, invisible. This video is not about becoming toxic. It's about becoming untouchable. Let's be honest. There's a reason people say things like, "You only want me when I stop caring." Because it's true. Attraction isn't born from comfort. It's born from emotional tension. If she doesn't feel anything when she's around you, no drama, no spark, no polarity, she won't feel the need to be around you. That's why today, I'm going to teach you the exact psychological strategies that flip that dynamic. You'll learn how to trigger her emotional brain instead of her logical one. Make her think about you without even trying. Reverse the chase, calmly, silently, without begging. Because here's the truth. The only way to stop being ignored is to become the man she can't ignore. Let's begin. Number 1. Create controlled conflict to trigger her emotions. Let me hit you with something most men never realize. If everything in your relationship feels too calm, too peaceful, too perfect, she will lose interest, not because she's toxic, but because her brain is wired for emotional stimulation, not emotional silence. It's the little drama, the unexpected tension, that makes her feel something. And what do people obsess over most? Not the peaceful moments, not the nice dinners, not the good morning texts. They obsess over the things that confuse them, the emotional spikes, the unresolved feelings, the moment you pulled away without a warning. That's what she replays. That's what keeps you stuck in her head. Why drama works when used right. Let me break it down. Our minds spend 90% of their energy thinking about problems, about stress, conflict, things that need to be solved. Only 10% is spent on things that feel fine. So if you're too available, too easy to read, too emotionally predictable, then guess what? She stops thinking about you because you don't create emotional problems for her to solve. And what happens when someone causes us emotional friction? We replay it. We obsess. We can't stop thinking about it. So the truth is, if you're too peaceful, you'll get ignored. But if you create just enough tension, you become unforgettable. How to do it without being toxic. I'm not saying start a fight. I'm not saying be disrespectful or cruel. I'm talking about small, calculated disruptions, just enough to trigger her emotional brain. Like delaying your replies on purpose, randomly ending a conversation when it's going great, disagreeing confidently and walking away from it, going silent for half a day after giving her full attention the day before. These moments plant seeds of confusion. They make her ask, wait, did I do something wrong? Why did he just disappear? Is he losing interest? That's when she starts thinking about you constantly. That's when her brain shifts from comfort to craving. Let me ask you this. What do you personally think about the most during your day? Chances are, it's the unresolved stuff. The conversations that didn't end well, the message you didn't get back, the things that triggered your emotions. Now flip that. When you create controlled friction in her mind, she begins obsessing, not over what's wrong with you, but over why she can't get you out of her head. The secret? You don't need to fight. You don't need to scream. You just need to stop being predictable. Predictability kills passion. Tension revives it. Number 2, give her a small emotional reward. Then pull away. If you want to leave a lasting mark in someone's mind, you don't start with tension. You start with a deposit. Not just any compliment, not basic praise, not the things she hears every day from every guy. You give her something that's personal, specific, and rare. And then, you leave. Human psychology is driven by one powerful loop: the need for closure. So when you give her a moment of emotional reward, something that makes her feel seen, chosen, understood, and then vanish, her brain goes into search mode. She starts replaying what you said. She starts imagining what might happen next. And when you don't immediately follow it up, she becomes mentally hooked. Here's how it works. Let's say you're texting with her. The vibe is good. You casually drop something like, "You know what I noticed?" Most people probably never catch this, but the way you pause before you speak, it's like you're calculating every word. It's rare, it's powerful. Then change the subject, or go offline. Don't ask for validation. Don't wait for her reaction. Don't even bring it up again. That tiny move just gave her an emotional high, a compliment wrapped in attention plus exclusivity. Now take it away. That withdrawal makes the moment echo in her head. Every guy can send flowers. Every guy can blow up her phone. Every guy can say, "You're beautiful." But almost no one gives her a compliment that feels earned, emotional validation that feels exclusive, and then the space to crave more. It's like showing her a door to something deeper, and then closing it just before she can walk in. That's what makes her chase. You can also use this with plans. Let's say you want to plant excitement. Send her this. "Ever been to that rooftop place downtown? Remind me to take you there sometime. You'll love it." Then never bring it up again. No follow-up, no asking, no, "What day works for you?" Leave it hanging. Now you've added anticipation into the emotional equation. And anticipation is addictive. The point isn't to play games. It's to create depth, to make her feel something real, and then give her space to reflect on it. That's what sparks connection. That's what makes you different. Number 3, show interest, not admiration. Let's be real. Most guys think that showing a woman they're impressed will make her like them more. That if you compliment her hard enough, if you validate her enough, she'll feel chosen and chase you. But that's not how attraction works. If she knows she already has you, she stops trying to earn you. If she feels fully admired, without mystery, without challenge, she loses interest. So here's the shift. You show attention, without full approval. You make her feel seen, but never fully claimed. Let's say she's dressed well. Most guys would say, "You look amazing. That outfit is perfect on you." Instead, you say, "That color works. But I bet a darker tone would have made it hit harder." See what just happened? You acknowledged her effort, but you didn't surrender your standards. That subtle difference makes her think. It creates tension. She starts wondering, wait, so he noticed, but he's not fully sold? What does he actually think of me? That's the mental space where obsession is born. Women are used to getting admiration, compliments, approval, praise. It's predictable. But when you show a woman that you're not seeking her approval, but instead evaluating her like a high-value man who has options, you flip the emotional script. Now you're the one being chased. You're no longer just another guy trying to impress her. You become the man she wants to impress. Let's say she sends you a selfie. Instead of, "You're so beautiful," try something like, "That angle's solid, but you're giving more cute than dangerous right now." It's playful, mysterious, confident. You're giving energy, but holding your frame. And holding your frame is what makes you irresistible. Never seek her validation. Let her seek yours, even when you're being kind. Let your compliments feel earned, not handed out like free samples. Number 4, make her feel your emotional coldness. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear. The person who controls the emotional temperature of the conversation controls the relationship. And most of the time, she's the one setting the temperature. She gets emotional. She pulls back. She says something passive-aggressive. She brings up old drama. And you react. You explain. You chase. You try to fix it. But from now on, that ends. Because here's what high-value men do. They stay cold, calm, stoic, especially when she's trying to provoke them. Let's say she says, "I'm busy, I'll talk to you later." Your old self would have replied, "Busy with what? You've been ignoring me. You always do this." But your new self, the grounded version, just says, "Got it. Understood." Or the king of all responses, "Your call." And then, silence. No emojis, no over-explaining, no chasing. Now here's what happens. She starts feeling the coldness, the absence of your emotional energy, and it hits harder than any text ever could. She'll start wondering, what does he mean by that? Why isn't he asking questions? Why is he so calm? And that silence? It becomes louder than anything you could say. When someone is trying to trigger you and you show no visible reaction, you instantly flip the power dynamic. You become unreadable, unshakable, a mystery. And we are wired to chase what we can't figure out. Think about it. When was the last time you obsessed over someone who was too easy to read? Exactly. Here are some cold, neutral words that disarm her. Noted. As you wish. Understood. Fair enough. If that's how you feel. Say them without sarcasm, without emotion, without neediness. Because the goal isn't to act cold. The goal is to be mentally untouchable. If you break and start over-explaining, if you get emotional, if you argue or beg for clarity, you hand her the remote control to your emotions. And a woman will never respect a man whose emotional state she can toy with. Number 5, disappear without warning. No excuses, no apologies. There's one move that instantly shifts power back into your hands. A move so simple, yet so effective, it gets stuck in her mind like a glitch. Disappear, without saying a word, without giving a reason, and without apologizing when you come back. Most guys, when they pull back, do it with guilt. They explain themselves. They say, "Sorry, I've just been busy," or "Hope you're okay." That's not what we're doing here. You're going to disappear with confidence. And when you come back, you act like nothing happened. Let's say the energy between you two is solid. You're texting. The vibe is flowing. Everything's calm. Then suddenly, you go quiet. Mid-conversation, mid-interest, mid-momentum, gone. 24 to 48 hours, no post, no message, no good night, nothing. Then you return. No apology, no explanation. Just got caught up with a few things. What's up? And you continue the conversation normally, as if you were never gone. That single move will leave her confused, intrigued, hooked, because her brain didn't get closure. And what the brain can't close, it keeps chasing. Disappearing like this sends a message louder than anything you could say. I have a life. I'm not obsessed, and you're not the center of my universe. And that's attractive. Why? Because she doesn't feel ownership over you anymore. She realizes, I don't have full access to him. I can't control his attention. I can't predict his next move. And that unpredictability? It's addictive. Before you disappear, you can even leave a mental hook, something like, you'd love the place I'm going to tomorrow. Remind me to tell you about it later. Then, vanish. No story, no follow-up, just silence. That one line will echo in her head while you're gone. This isn't something you do every week. This is a pattern interrupt. You use it when things feel too comfortable, when she's getting lazy with effort, when she's starting to take your presence for granted. Use it once, and you'll feel the shift instantly. She might say, where did you go? Why did you disappear? You always vanish. And your answer, calm, casual, director. Just had things to handle. What's new? No over-explaining, no guilt. The power is in your indifference. Number 6, repeat what she says. Say nothing else. Sometimes she'll push. Sometimes she'll accuse. Sometimes she'll try to get under your skin just to see if she can still control your emotions. And in those moments, most men make one of two mistakes. 1, they get defensive and explain everything. 2, they get emotional and start an argument. But the high-value man, he doesn't explain. He doesn't justify. He doesn't react. He simply mirrors and stays in control. Let's say she says, you always ignore me lately. Most guys would respond, that's not true, I've been busy. You know I care about you. Why would you even say that? But you respond with, I always ignore you? Then silence. That's it. You're not validating the accusation. You're not denying it. You're simply reflecting it back to her with calm indifference. Repeating her words puts her in an uncomfortable position because now she has to explain herself. She expected a reaction. She expected a fight. She expected you to start defending your behavior. Instead, you gave her stillness. You gave her power back and made her carry the emotional weight. Now she's the one who explains, justifies, chases the emotional resolution. You flip the energy. She says, you're always late replying to me. You say, I'm always late replying. She says, you don't care anymore. You say, I don't care anymore. And then, silence. She starts second-guessing. She overthinks. She gets emotional, while you stay still. That's power. This move is especially effective when she's being dramatic to test your reaction. She throws out emotional bait to pull you in. She wants you to prove you care. Don't give her what she expects. Let her explain. Let her carry the weight of her words and watch how fast she softens because you didn't fall into her emotional trap. When you repeat instead of react, she feels two things. 1, respect, because you're not emotionally weak. 2, challenge, because she doesn't fully understand your frame, and women chase what they don't fully understand. Number 7, be the only one who triggers her emotions. Let me tell you a secret that almost no one talks about. Women don't get addicted to men. They get addicted to the emotions men make them feel. That's the game. Not your money, not your looks, not your gifts. It's the emotional fingerprint you leave behind. The unique reaction only you can trigger in her. And the man who controls a woman's emotional highs and lows, he controls the frame of the relationship. Think of it like this. She can get validation from social media, attention from a dozen guys, compliments in her DMs every single day. But emotional depth, that's rare, that's human. And if you're the only one who can give her that full emotional spectrum, curiosity, tension, release, connection, unpredictability, then you become irreplaceable. You need to stop trying to impress her with things and start making her feel something she can't get anywhere else. That means speak differently than other guys. Calm, direct, controlled. Pull back when she expects you to lean in. Challenge her ideas without fear. Be mysterious with your next move. In short, you make her feel uncertain, intrigued, and emotionally activated, all while staying emotionally stable yourself. That combination, deadly attractive. Other guys can buy her dinner, like her selfies, text her every morning, but almost none of them can make her rethink her value in your life, trigger her need for validation from you, not the world. Make her feel off balance without being cruel, and when you become her only emotional reference point, she becomes emotionally dependent on your presence, not addicted to you, but addicted to how she feels around you. That's deeper. That's harder to replace. You're the guy who disappears for 24 hours, then drops a voice note that's calm and confident. Says, "I'm not here to chase. If you want me, you know where to find me." Texts one powerful line and then vanishes for hours while she overthinks it. You're not giving her predictable affection. You're giving her unforgettable impact. Don't confuse this with playing mind games. You're not trying to manipulate her. You're not trying to fake emotion. You're becoming the only man who can make her feel something real, because you're no longer afraid to break the rules other guys follow. Number 8, always be busy, even when you're not. Here's one of the most overlooked truths in attraction. The more available you are, the less valuable you seem. Not because you're not a good man, but because human nature doesn't respect what's always within reach. Think about it. Do you chase what you already have unlimited access to? Of course not. So if every time she calls, you answer instantly, if every time she texts, you reply in seconds, if she asks what you're doing and you say, "Nothing, just chilling," then you're training her brain to believe you're not in demand, you're not busy, you're just waiting. And that destroys attraction, even if your day is open, even if you're literally lying in bed scrolling. When she asks what you're doing, your response should always frame you as a man with a mission. Grabbing a few things, then heading out. Just prepping for later. Got a few things I'm lining up. On the go all day, but what's up? Even casually saying "I'm heading out in a bit" creates movement. It signals that your time has value. That changes the way she views your attention. Now it's not something she gets by default. It's something she has to earn. When your time is perceived as limited, every interaction becomes more meaningful. Now she thinks, "He's giving me time, even though he's clearly busy. He must see value in me if he's willing to slow down for a second." That raises your value without saying a word. You're no longer that guy who's always online. You're the guy who has things going on, but still finds time to show up when it matters. That contrast? It makes you stand out instantly. Want to level it up? Next time you're texting, say, "I've only got 5 minutes, but I wanted to check in. What's up?" Then stick to it. Cut the conversation early. Leave her wanting more. This builds the psychological trigger of limited access equals increased value. She'll start chasing that feeling again, because she doesn't know when she'll get it next. If she asks, "What are you up to?" and you say, "Nothing really, just chilling," you lose points without realizing it, because what you just told her is, I'm not in motion, I don't have direction, I'm fully available. And no woman feels pulled toward a man who has nothing to do. Even if you're resting, frame it like recovery. Took the day off to reset before the next push. Clearing my head, tomorrow's packed. Subtle, confident, masculine.